So all of you guys here have achieved, not all at once, but massive success. You've seen big success in your businesses. You're all profitable and making great money in the companies that you own. How do you stay committed to your goal once you've achieved success?
I think when someone achieves a certain level of success, typically they stop working. But I think in order to keep growing and getting to the next level, I think it's also who you compare yourself to, right? A lot of people compare themselves to the easy comparison, which is people who are not as successful. But once you start comparing yourself to people who are doing a little bit better than you, and just reevaluating your goals, right? Your goals don't have to stay the same; they change over time. And I think for me, just comparing myself to other people who are doing better, not only personally, professionally, in their relationships. There's always ways to grow and get better in all aspects of it. And I think comparing yourself to people who are ahead of you is probably the biggest thing in terms of achieving and getting bigger goals.
Well, this is my opinion, and it's just my opinion. I also think it's a fact. I think so. What I used to believe, what you said, success, money. I was like, you know what? I think when success equals money, then you don't have enough money yet. And if you think success equals money, you just don't have enough money. And I think when you do have enough money, then you realize that wasn't success. And then you were talking about that earlier. Like, hey, I've been a saver for all this time, living below my means. I'm successful now. And all the time up until here, you were just on the way, right? And now you're actually seeing success, which to you means, I've been seeing, I saw my children grow. You can't repeat that. I have the time that I want. I don't need money. You're asking for a pay cut because it's like, I want to earn the money that I'm earning, not the money that I'm getting paid. And so you default to complete ethics and morality when you don't need money. And when I was chasing money, I equaled success to money. Now I know. And then when I had enough to not worry, I realized, interesting how I don't really care now. It's interesting that you move from chasing to not caring. It's like, so yeah, I think, was that not true?
I think it reveals who you are.
Yeah.
Truly, like after you have enough, you're kind of like, who am I really?
Once you're there, for me, what happened is once you're there after the money achievement, and you're there, you're like, now I kind of have to keep going because I said so. So it's like, now it's my responsibility as an adult. And now I have all these people I have to help and take care of versus, well, I'm done. Mm-hmm. Got my money. I'm done. Yeah. And that I don't think a person would ever get there because if not, they wouldn't have enough money to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my take.
Yeah. I kind of side with both. Like, to me, it's like, it's definitely who you surround yourself with, like Aaron said, because they say it all the time, if you hang around 5 millionaires, you become the fifth, or, if you hang around 6 crackheads, you become the sixth. So really you're noticing like the people that you have in your circle, what is their success, and, can you achieve what they're achieving? And then it's the same thing with Richard. Like, I actually, for me, this whole time, a decade of my life, I've been chasing paying off debt. And then I go to, Rich is my mentor, and I'm like, cool, that's done. What's now what? Yeah. And, I'm like, cool, I'm just going to sit and, make
good
the
job,
money
by the way.
That was huge.
I did.
The whole thing, right? It's done. Credit card's all done.
Like, this was recent, like last month.
Literally last week.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been working so hard for 10 years. I put overtime at American to just pay that off. And it's just a piece of mind.
Check. Yeah.
And then I said, well, I'm obviously going to keep working. And he's like, you'll find your next goal pretty soon. But it's like, obviously my biggest thing is just to have that generational wealth for my daughter, so she can now understand, like, hey, like, it's not always about chasing the money, but it's about the freedom of time to do whatever you want, when you want, and however you want.
How has negative feedback shaped your leadership style? When you've gotten negative feedback from people that have either worked for you or a client or somebody like that, like, how has it impacted, or what have you learned from that, or how has it shaped your way of leading?
I think for me is a really big thing because I'm a little bit newer of a business owner. I think negative feedback, Richard was talking to me about this the other day, but I think negative feedback is the fastest way to get from point A to point B, where point A is, hey, I'm mediocre, and point B is now, like, I'm exemplary. Because you're just getting feedback from all the bad stuff that you're doing and how many mistakes you're making, especially when it's from someone that has, 10 years running a business or, 15 years running a business. So I think negative feedback is crucial running a business and being a newer entrepreneur.
I think for me, it's like super essential to your growth, right? So it's like if you're providing a service and that service isn't good, you would want to know, hey, how can I get better? How can I actually make my customers happy? How can I actually make my employees happy? Whatever the service is. Like, I think if you actually are someone that runs a business or anything of that nature, getting the information of how to make that product or that service better, why not?
So I got something. So I think more than shaping, you said how has it shaped your leadership style? So I think for me, more than shape, it's been more of a revealing thing. So like, and it's so painful to recognize it, but when I look 4 years ago and I look now, it's like you attract your business, at least the industry I'm in, it just kind of gives you what you put in. So like I was getting so many reviews and so many negative reviews, and I realized I don't get any of those now. I was probably doing something wrong.
You think?
I don't know if I can. You'd think, but at the time I remember taking them as like, well, no, that's not true, or this is this, or I have a reason for everything. And now I look back, I'm like, Claire, we don't get reviews now. In fact, we get positive ones without asking, and it's like interesting. And developed a lot, and I realized you really just attract who you are. The problems we used to have are the people that we used to attract. I was single at the time, so I would attract single people. I'm married now. I attract married people. And I wonder, is there a coincidence there? And I don't think so. And so I think a lot of the negatives just hit you harder, but the positives as well, I think they just reveal a little bit of who you are. And you're either aware and you're picking up on that, which I wasn't at the time, or you're not, like now, for example, we're super on top of it. So we're really picking up all of the negative feedback. We're searching for it. We just created like 3 or 4 surveys over the last 30 days to like fish for negative feedback, which I've never done in 7 years, because we look at it like, oh, this is gold. We need the negative stuff so that we can create a system to prevent that or whatever. And I've never done that. And now I look at it like, dude, that's maturity. And I realize, oh my gosh, like I've missed.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's focus on what I can do now. So more of a revealing point for me, but I think it's super important. Super important, especially when you become aware, like this says a lot about me.
Yeah, I think negative feedback, I don't think there's necessarily any negative feedback. I think all feedback is good, just because you get a fresh perspective on what's actually going on, right? It just negative feedback or just feedback in general, you get to see from other people's perspective what's actually going on, and it just gives you a fresh new set of eyes on what's going on, because a lot of times we get locked up in our own little bubble, or what we only view things from our perspective. That when we get outside perspective, it gives us a chance to better not only ourselves, our business, and continue progressing in the right direction.